All right, we're going to dive right into something that sounds a little bit like science fiction. We're talking about a new playbook, a new way of doing things that takes the entire months-long process of building a piece of software and shrinks it down to a single afternoon. So how on earth is that even possible? Let's get into it.
I mean, really think about that question. A professional, complex, ready-to-sell piece of software going from just a random idea in your head to a fully realized product in just a couple of hours? It sounds completely impossible, right? Well, what we're about to see is that this is the new reality that AI is making happen right now.
Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we'll look at what this new product playbook actually is. Then we're going to walk through a real-world example, step by step, from a fuzzy idea to a solid feature list. We'll see how AI can literally become your product manager and even your UI designer. And finally, we'll talk about what all this means for the skills we're all going to need in this new world.
So, first up, the new product playbook. And look, we're not just talking about making things a little bit faster. This isn't a small speed boost. This is a total compression of the entire development cycle. It's fundamentally changing the timeline of how we create things. This slide really just says it all, doesn't it? On the left, you've got the old way. You know, that slow, winding road with different teams who don't talk to each other, taking months and costing an absolute fortune. But on the right, that's the new reality. It's a direct shot. AI just collapses that whole messy process, letting one person iterate super fast, in hours, not months, and for a tiny, tiny fraction of the cost. So let's get into our case study and see how this actually works. This is where it all starts, right? You've got that fuzzy concept, that spark of an idea, and you need to turn it into something real, something actionable. And this was the starting point. It wasn't some super detailed 100-page document. It was just a big, broad goal. Hey, let's build something like ChatGPT, but better. Something that can use different AI models and, something we can actually charge money for. It's exactly the kind of vague idea that would normally kick off weeks and weeks of meetings.
So how do you turn that idea into a plan? Well, the process is kind of shockingly simple. You don't call a bunch of meetings, you don't start a massive email chain, you just explain your idea in a detailed prompt, feed it to an AI, and it does all the heavy lifting for you, handing back a concrete list of features. And what you get back is so much more than a simple to-do list. The AI came up with this incredibly thoughtful feature set. I mean, it included sophisticated stuff like agentic routing, which is where the system is smart enough to pick the best AI model for whatever you're asking it to do. It even mapped out a whole monetization strategy with free, pro, and enterprise tiers. It's basically thinking like a top-tier product strategist.
Okay, so we've got our features. What's next?
Well, now the AI puts on its product manager hat and gets to work creating the detailed technical blueprint, the whole shebang.
And this is where the time savings just get ridiculous. Building out a proper product requirements document, a PRD, that's a task that can easily take a human team weeks, sometimes a full month of research and meetings. With this new playbook, it was done in 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes.
And it's not like the AI is just making this stuff up out of thin air. You can guide it. You can give it your specific constraints. In this case, the team told it exactly what tech they wanted to use, Next.js, Python, specific databases. The AI just took all of that and wove it perfectly into the final plan.
The final document was unbelievably comprehensive. Sure, it had the stuff you'd expect, like architecture diagrams and API endpoints, but it also included critical things they didn't even ask for, like a whole section on security and compliance, and even a multi-phase development roadmap. It was thinking several steps ahead. All right, so the blueprint is solid, but let's be real. The fun part is seeing what this thing is actually going to look like. And this next part is maybe the most mind-blowing. Creating a professional, polished user interface from just a few words of text.
And again, just look at this contrast. Traditional design, it can take months. You've got endless meetings, constant back and forth, so many revisions. With AI, one person can spit out multiple, high-quality, totally different options in about 10 minutes. The speed is just staggering.
So what was the magic command? It wasn't a complex technical brief, it was just a vibe. They just described a feeling, an aesthetic. Keep it modern, luxurious, metallic. That's it. Let's see what the AI came up with from just that. And boom, here's the first result, generated instantly. A gorgeous, modern, dark-themed interface. I mean, just take a second to look at this. To get a high-fidelity mock-up like this would normally take a skilled designer days, maybe even a full week of work. But why stop there? Maybe you're not a dark mode person. No problem. With another click, the AI gives you a totally different feel, a super clean professional light theme. Same layout, but a completely different aesthetic. And hey, for a third option, how about a completely different layout? The power to explore so many distinct, high-quality design directions this fast, it's not just an improvement. It's a complete game changer for anyone in a creative role. Okay, so we've seen how you can build a product at lightning speed, but that raises a big question. What does this mean for the people, for us? This is leading to the rise of a completely new kind of job, a new kind of skill set.
Now, the source material for this makes a really bold claim. It says, in an age of AI, specialization is having no value. Whoa, that's a huge statement. The idea is, if AI can do all the specialized tasks better and faster than a human can, then our value has to shift somewhere else. And this is where the AI generalist comes in. Now, this isn't a person who knows how to do everything themselves. It's someone who understands the entire process, from start to finish, and knows how to direct the AI tools to execute all the specialized parts. Think of them like a movie director. Their value isn't in being the best actor or cinematographer, it's in having the vision to bring all the pieces together. So let's just recap this new playbook we've seen in action. It all starts with a fuzzy idea. You use AI to sharpen it into real features. You use AI to build the technical plan. You use AI to create the designs. And all the while, you, the human, are the one overseeing it all, the strategic generalist. And that really brings us to the most important takeaway here. This is not just about a new tool that makes us a bit faster, like getting a better hammer. AI is a fundamental paradigm shift. It is an entirely new and radically faster way to bring ideas into the world.
And that leaves us with a really fascinating question to think about. As AI gets better and better and better at mastering the how to plan, how to design, how to code, does our ultimate human skill, the most valuable thing we can possibly bring to the table, become simply knowing what to build in the first place? Something to think about.